Good morning, Desert Bounty, Perry here. 7. Good morning. On the high desert of Arizona. It got frosty last night. There's frost on everything. So, I wanted to inform you. What we had here in the northern part of Arizona was not only historic but unprecedented. You see, in the last 9 days, Arizona here has experienced the wettest November since 1890. Now, I didn't reference that. I didn't check it myself. I saw a meme that said wettest November on record since 1890. So it precipitated here for almost 8 days straight, something that I didn't plan on. When I decided to move here, I had been looking at the geography and the weather patterns for a number of years. And it was my understanding that November, December, January, February were typically dry months. A little bit of snow here and there, but nothing to be. Although they did get a foot of snow here a few years back. And I've heard some neighbors and stuff talk about 18 to 24 inches. But it's usually gone in a couple of days, and it creates a severe inconvenience on the dirt roads here because they're muddy. Big ruts. If you don't have a four-wheel drive, you're in big trouble. So something here that also I want to talk to you about is solar. If you have a solar system and you're experiencing 8 consecutive days of no sun, that presents a problem. You better have a generator. Propane, kerosene, dual fuel, gasoline generator. In 8 days, I'm just standing here looking at a little Predator there. That thing goes for 3 gallons every 8 hours, even on the economy mode. So that's a consideration. Right now, I got about $65 in gas used in the last 8.5 days because the solar system can't recover. About 9 days ago, it was really warm here. It got up in the high 70s, low 80s. It got particularly warm in the RV. We got the air conditioner to run with the solar, which was awesome. It was during the day, during the afternoon. And I was called away from the property. I didn't get back here until well after dark. And the AC was off, and the batteries were completely drained. The safety on this system kicks the use of the batteries off at a certain percentage so you don't drain the batteries. So, with near-dead batteries, non-usable, had to be recharged, and no way to charge the battery set with the generator. I'm not set up like that. This is a loaner system. I had to wait. So it's taken 9 days for the batteries to recover in the solar system so it's usable again in the RV. And this system, it's a limited function. You can't run AC, you can't run a standard plug-in 120-volt refrigerator, freezers, things of that nature. It's enough to get by. Lights, igniters for the hot water heater, etc. But a system like this will not run an entire home. And on the days when it's cloudy, it presents a problem. Now, there are some neighbors here that have wind turbines. Those are good to use. The wind here is pretty constant. If you pick the right spot and get the right elevation, you can have pretty good success in a propeller, in a wind turbine. The only other alternative is gas or propane or, petroleum fuel backup generator. Now, there are ways to have extra batteries, at $600 to $1,300 a pop, or battery banks more. I saw some battery banks going for $7,000, 3 tons. That's something that's, $66,000. No, it's not practical for someone in my situation. So you do what you can do. So if you have a solar system, it would be wise to have a backup solar system with a battery you're not using too much, that you're relatively certain is charged all the time. Like a small portable system that you can have charged regularly. Use it once in a while, but keep it charged in the event your solar goes down for a long period of time. You got that battery and a backup. If not, you're on generators. It's going to cost you money. So with this system here, it was depleted. And we use the batteries all night long. And right now, if you can see that, I'm showing a 3, which is about as low as you want them to go. We used it all night long, just running the furnace and some minimal lights. The system was fully charged, 6 bars from the sun yesterday. Woohoo! I could shut the generator off and save some money. But we ran it all night long. The sun is shining. It's going to shine all day. And you can see here that the first battery is at 3, and it's going to recover nicely the other 3 in a few hours. And then the battery in the back, if you can see that, is holding at a steady 4. So we're in good shape there. It's good to have the sunshine back. It's good to have the solar at our disposal. And now we're just waiting for things to dry out. Unprecedented rain. Wow. I didn't prepare for this. You know, mechanical repairs, things like that. I just put a transmission in my truck that was $5,500. Money that I didn't really want to spend on that. And then my front driver's side axle broke in the mud, doing absolutely nothing, just in reverse with a turn on the wheel, pop, broke the axle. So less than 1 mile per hour, doing what you would think is real light work. I had another mechanical failure, so I got the truck over here. I'm going to do a video on that about the front CV axle replacement out in the bush. No power tools. Yeah, that's going to be fun. So I went and got that part yesterday, and I have it sitting here, and I just got to get the broken CV axle out of there. So, never ends. I've been a little depressed about that. The rain really got to me. It's something I wasn't planning for, and out front here, the property where we drive in, and the about a quarter-mile road off of a gravel road, just dirt all the way back to the land, is about 7 to 10 inches deep mud. Right up to the hubs and the tires, where my low-profile Chevy truck has a standard stock suspension in it. It's rubbing. A friend of mine's truck, which is an F350 platform Super Duty, it sits about 3 inches higher. Just misses everything, walks right through it. So, you know, Ford, they got it going on with that. My truck, the Chevy 4-wheel drive, is out because that CV axle is broken. It won't independently turn on just one side, which is a design that I think is good. You don't want to just be putting pressure on one side. Military vehicles, doesn't matter. CV axle goes out on one side, all 3 other wheels still keep turning. So apparently as civilians, we don't get technology like that. And by the way, the military vehicles are a repair fix in minutes versus hours and days at thousands of dollar expense. And that's by design. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Tyrants by design. So anyway, the solar is up. Yeah, that's a positive. I'm trying to focus on positive things today. The view here. Look at the view. You can't pay for that. Well, I guess I did. But it's uplifting. The sun is bringing my mood up. Those darker thoughts I was having about what have I done have gone away. Friends, conversation with friends that I've had over the phone, a couple of them. Bob, thanks. Dee, thanks. Brandon, thanks. And a couple of neighbors I've encountered out here, they're chuckling and they'd say, oh, well, that's life out here. You got to have to deal with it. 8 inches of mud. 4-wheel drive only access. You know, when I came in here, the dirt was dry. It was hard. It was easy to drive on. I was able to move trailers and stuff around. Now I'm paralyzed. So I had to come up with more money and purchase some gravel. So I'm having $600 worth of gravel delivered from another neighbor who's going to do it for, you know, cash. I'm grateful for that. He's the only one that can really get back here. And any other outfit that I would try to hire to bring gravel in, there's no telling what they would charge because this is remote. It's out in the sticks, man. Nobody's just going to jump in their dump truck and drive out here. The risk is too great. But the neighbor over here, he's been living here for 20 years, and he does some stuff like that. Fritzy. Thanks, Fritz. He says when he gets to it and it dries out, he'll get a load of gravel over here. 16 ton. And he kind of chuckled because I said, just get back down to the property and dump it, and we'll wheelbarrow it. He goes, have you ever wheelbarrowed 16 tons of gravel before? And I'm like, no, but I got my son here. I'm just going to work him to death. He laughed and chuckled at that. No, I'll work the gravel too, but we got to do something. Combined with some free mulch at the local landfill, I think mulch, a good mulch base when I get the trailer unstuck here and I'm able to pull it out of the mud, which I hope is today after I fix my truck. Then we can get some free wood chips and some free mulch. And we're going to use some of that free resource. And we also heard that locally here there's some where they tear up the gravel or they tear up the asphalt highways and they bring it to a local site and they dump it and they stack it up. Maybe you've seen that going along highways. You see these big piles of black, what looks like black sand. Well, that's the ground up asphalt that they ground up when they redid the road. And they often petition homeowners or property owners to stage this stuff there until they can come back and remove it. So I heard that there's some of that free resource that, we contact the right people, we can pull up in the trailer and we can hand shovel our own man-made aggregate, oil-soaked asphalt. Not too good for the environment, but a resource that's just going to sit there. Might as well use it here. I don't think it's going to cause a contamination issue here with the groundwater or the soil, because even if we used a couple tons of it, it wouldn't be enough to really cause a major effect. So I'm aware of that. So we'll use that free resource and we'll get some of these ruts filled in and try to improve the road between here and the next gravel. And that's now going to be a process. I've been in and out of this property now about 20 or 30 times and cut some pretty nasty ruts the whole distance. Not only in the little circle around here by our RV back up to our little road, but from our road to the gravel. Deep ruts. And there's ancient aggregate boulders from pulse flood or erosion or volcanic eruptions. They're strewn throughout the landscape here. Big boulders. I've seen some as big as, your bathtub. They're buried in the ground, just the top sticking out. Nothing you can do about it. Drive over it. So with this rain, we've had a lot of erosion, and a lot of these boulder tops are exposed now. They weren't before, but now they are. So it creates another hazard. Driving out here has to be a cautious and deliberate and think it through, and don't get in a hurry and take your time, because if you get excited and you try to hurry, things break. And out here, it sucks. So that's all I have on the solar today. I'm happy about that. It's sunny out. Things are drying. It's still pretty muddy, but it's drying, and that's a good thing. And my next video is going to be over here working on the CV axle of the truck bush fix. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.